other day we spent a little time squaring up a block. Today we're going to square up a quilt. I had told you we would do that in the future, and today is the day. So we are going to take this quilt that's finished and just ready to bind, but before we bind it, we need to square it up. So let me show you how to square it up. The way I like to square up a quilt is I will take the quilt and lay it open. Doesn't matter which side you start with. I'm left-handed, so I start with the bottom left corner. But you just start with whatever corner is comfortable for you. I'm going to line the ruler, a square ruler, on the corner. And over here I've got a little bit of batting showing outside of here. That's not going to bother me too bad. Can you see it right here? It's not going to bother me too bad because that's going to be in the binding. But I do want to make sure that it's not in 1/4 of an inch. And it is a little bit too far in for my liking. So I'm going to take this ruler and I'm going to line it up at the corner of this quilt. And I see where it's going up just a little bit right here. So I'm going to bring it up a little and cut this off. So I'm going to square this up in the corner. I'm going to put this ruler straight in the corner. And then I'm going to cut this excess off. And now that side of the quilt is squared up. So that part I'll discard. This part is now a squared up corner. So what I'll do is I'll take this quilt. Get my trash out of the way. I'll cut that off later. I'll roll this quilt down a little bit. And I'll put this ruler right back where it was. It's in the corner perfectly. Then I'll take another ruler and I'll line it up with this ruler. So let's see. When I line this one up, I see that this is just a little bit shorter down here in this corner. It comes up just a little bit. So I'm going to need to go back and bring this up just a hair. So this side was fine. I'm going to cut another sliver off this side so that I can square it up as I go down here. I'll slide it back. Put the ruler back where it was, lined up. Take the next ruler and line it up. Your numbers should coincide. And now, let me line it up just right. So once I've got this lined up in the corner, I'm going to take this ruler and I'm going to line it up as well. So my numbers should coincide with this ruler and that ruler. And it should go straight down this board. And now I'm going to go on to this ruler. And I'm going to trim off whatever excess is here. And I'll just let it hang. I'll move my rulers, slide my quilt, and then line these rulers back up again. This ruler, I'll just line up against the edge of the quilt. This ruler, I'll line up with that one. Make sure my edges are right. And then I'll trim off any excess. Then I'm just going to trim all the way to the edge of this quilt. And once I'm done, I'll take this and I'll flip it and I'll do the next side. So I'll take my rulers out of my way. turn the quilt this direction. Line this side up since we already know it's lined up. It's straight. We're going to line it up on a ruler on the mat. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. So I don't want this excess batting in there, even if it's small enough it'll hide in the binding, it doesn't bother me. But that's a little bit much there, so I'm going to slide it up just a little bit. Then I'm going to put this ruler down beside it, make sure that that is okay down the line. It's not too short down here, and it's not. So I'll hold this ruler and I'll trim this excess off. Hold it, move it down here. Put this in the corner again. Line this one up. And then trim this. And I'm going to do this all the way around the quilt. Line it up. Butt these two rulers up against each other so that means my straight edge is still going straight. Cut off excess and keep going down the side of the quilt till I get all four sides done. Doesn't matter what ruler you use, just that it has the straight edge, of course. But the beginning ruler, I like to use this square because this will show me a big enough side of each side of the quilt. So I start with that square, butt this ruler up to it to give me a longer edge, and then I'll cut this excess. So I take my excess, cut it off, I turn the quilt, and I do it again. So I'll meet you back here when we've finished squaring this up. Once I get the whole quilt, all four sides done like that, what I like to do is I take this quilt and I'll fold it in half one way, and then I'll hold the side. So I fold it in half the other way. Then, when I line it up on the table, it should line up pretty square. So now, when it lays like that, you know it's squared. If it doesn't lay like this, if it lays kind of crazy, square that side up again because something's not right. So when it lays flat and squared up, all your corners meet when you fold it up, you are good to go, and now it's time for binding. Then it's time to use it or gift it. So that is how I square up a quilt. I'm sure there are many different ways of doing it, but this is the way that I square up a quilt. If you have any questions, let me know as always, and until next time, you guys have a great afternoon. Enjoy whatever you're doing. Make the most of your day. Try to make someone happy today. Do something for someone else. Anything to make someone else's day better. If everyone did that, this world would be a much better place. So off that soapbox, you guys have a great day. Enjoy what you're doing, and happy quilting.